Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now we are in Tokyo, we are in Shibuya, and with Persona games, the best part about Persona games, and the best part, or one of the best parts in my opinion about Persona 5 Phantom X, is your energy system as well as your activity system, which means you can explore Tokyo with, best girl, best boy, whatever you want to do. You can romance, you can platonically do relationships, you can earn money in odd part-time jobs, level up your social. Basically, you can do everything that Persona is, essentially. And today's video, I'll be going through just the basics around energy, what you should be spending your energy on, and then just the little tips and tricks about energy in general. So if you do enjoy this video, definitely don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps out the YouTube algorithm, just like that person did. Thank you for subscribing. And we are going to be one of the premier content creators for this game. That is my goal, that is my aim. And then with your help, we can definitely achieve that. So thanks everyone for the support. Let's get into the video. So the basics with all this sort of daily activities, you go through the story, it'll give you a tutorial, and the tutorial does a pretty good job at explaining it. However, it does a little bit of a lackluster job of explaining social links as well as social stats. So the basics are, there's a random assortment per day of all these characters and all these activities that you can do, and each activity costs 1 action point. And this is basically energy. So you need these action points in order to do any of these activities, and these refresh daily. It says here UTC-8, but that'll probably be changing for global. I am playing on the Taiwan account when I'm recording this video. You automatically restore 5 points, so you get 5 points per day, which basically means you can do 5 activities per day. Now, is there a thing that's required that you really need to make sure to look out for? Like you really need to level up this social stat, that social stat, this confidant? Not really, in my personal opinion. The only confidant which I will be talking in depth about later on in this video is probably Merope, just because Merope is the Velvet Room attendant, which means she unlocks fusion. But everything else is completely up to you. You can do literally whatever you want. But I do highly recommend that you start at least choosing your favorite social links, and then those social links will correspond to a social stat that you need to rank up in order to use those, not use, but in order to rank up the social links. So that's the first thing to note is, who are your favorite social links? What do you want to do in the game? And, progress that way. So what I mean by that is, for example, this is a good example actually. So for example, I want to hang out Rin. Rin is best girl in this game. She is my one and only. But as you can see, you need knowledge rank 8 in order to rank up with her. Now, all of these confidants are in respect to 1 social stat. And these are your social stats here. So it's not like you need rank 8 for knowledge and then all of a sudden you need rank 7 for guts, rank 8 for guts, for example. So Rin will basically always need knowledge. So if I'm going to be maxing out Rin as soon as possible, that's exactly who I want to romance or I want to be in a platonic relationship with. I will 100% focus on all the knowledge-based tasks in the game. So the good thing about the social stats are you can actually see the point systems and how many points you need. And the good thing about when you do social link activities, so you can see the yellow highlights here, it actually tells you how many points you get. So you can roughly know exactly sort of how many you need in order to get the next rank up. So for rank 8, I'm actually rank 6 at the moment. So I need to get 5 more knowledge points to get to rank 7, and then probably a bit more. And these obviously scale with level. Eventually these will go higher the higher your levels go. But it's unlike normal Persona. It is not like a real strict system, because in normal Persona you have a calendar, and the calendar has a set number of days. In this game, because it's a live service game, it pretty much just ticks over infinitely. It's not even like days in the calendar. It's literally just like yesterday, today, and tomorrow when you tick over. So don't stress too much about like, oh, I need to get to this social stat on this particular day. It doesn't really matter. It's more based around what social stats you actually want in order to rank up the social links that you actually want. Now, the reason why you want to rank up social links is because they actually have pretty neato abilities. So, for example, with Rin's probably not the best example, but I'll just use her as an example for this. You can actually check out everyone's sort of tiered system, the rewards you get per rank up, and as well as the specific abilities that you get per, every single rank up. So, for example, with Rin, at rank 1, you can craft some more combat items, and then at rank 5, you can actually cook more food. And then these will depend on sort of everyone's, different abilities. And also you can get, when you reach rank 10 on every single one of these social links, you start getting high-end sort of incenses, which is your high-end skill upgrade materials. And then when you progress past these ranks and go up to max rank, basically depending on platonic or relationship wise, you get all these cool borders and basically customization effects. So if you really like someone's character, for example, really like someone's abilities, that's where you sort of should be spending your energy into. Now, the good thing about this game is that you might be thinking to yourself, do I need to pull that character or have that character in my roster in order to unlock the social link? And the answer is no, you do not whatsoever. So social links unlock in this game just via your synergy events as well as your side quests. You could get a side quest that takes you to the certain place in Japan or in Tokyo, sorry, and then basically just be like, oh, you know, you meet this person, and then that's when your social link starts. And then all your social link will start in basically the side quest section. So you can come here and just check your side quests every single day, see if there's anyone new to go to. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, there's a person, you know, there's this mysterious girl, lonely foreign traveler, for example. And then, you know, if you do that, bam, you'll get a social link. So you do not need to have that character in your roster in order for that to happen, which is a great addition to this game, because it would be absolutely a crime if they locked all the social links behind getting the character. That would be absolutely terrible. Now, the one thing as well, in addition to that, that I think is great, is that basically I got a question on a live stream once, or a comment once, that how does drip marketing stuff work in this game? How do we get hyped up for new characters? Basically, you get hyped up for new characters through this system, through this daily activities and energy spending system. Basically, that if there's a new character coming out, usually you can get their synergy bond and synergy social link confidant started about a patch before the character actually comes out, and you know that you can actually pull forward in the gacha system. And that way you can meet the character, you can interact with the character. For example, like Ichigo Berry, for example. On the other servers, everyone loves that character when she got drip marketed, as well as releasing pre her actual release in game as a Phantom Thief. She actually is a confidant link in this game, and people have been hanging out with her, checking out her, you know, her links, her, you know, the gifts they can give her, her personality, and basically you can build a good rapport around those characters then. And in that way, you can influence whether or not you really want that character or you don't want that character. So I think that's a nice touch as well, and it's great for marketing in this game. So in my opinion, energy spending is a lot less stringent than stamina grinding, for example, just because energy spending, you get 5 per day, and it kind of just forces you to take your time. None of these are essential. If you're a free-to-play player, it's definitely essential to unlock gems, for example, and I highly recommend that you kind of stick with 1 or 2 or 3 social links that you really like in order to just push up those ranks significantly, which means that also you need to keep an eye on which social stats that you need to push out. But this system is fairly slow. It is fairly... I wouldn't say, I would use the word time gated just because of the system and how it works. So just take your time, do your things, you know, your favorite things, do whatever. I don't recommend doing these gem ones, by the way, as well, just because you only get 10 gems. And for example, if you have a lot of stamina points and you don't have many people to hang out with, then definitely do the gem farms. But for example, you would still get more on a rank up with a social link rather than getting gems. So if you saw on that screen before, you can get from like, you know, at least in global, it scales from 80 all the way to 150 gems per rank up, whereas these gems are only 10. So just keep that in mind. But you can also replenish energy using your energy canisters. Now, you do get quite a lot of these. Again, free battle passes, just basic, you know, going through the story, and sometimes they'll just give out random rewards. And these refill 5 energy per day. And basically, you can use these to top up your energy. So if you're really pushing for a social link and you just need that additional little bit in order to hang out with Rin, for example, then go for it. I mean, I personally haven't found a reason why you can't just spend these energies at the moment. Actually, there's a reason. The reason that will be, you know, I'll talk about next. You can spend energy however you see fit. Again, this system is a lot less stringent, in my opinion, than stamina. Now, a caveat to that I did mention before is Merope. Now, Merope is important because she is the Velvet Room attendant in this game, which means that she is important for fusion. And just like any other Velvet Room attendant in any other Persona game, she unlocks potential Persona fusions that you can not unlock otherwise. And then basically that means that you need to rank her up in order to get specific fusions. So I can actually show that. I can actually show that to you, I just realized. So if we go to Merope's like abilities list, you can see here that every 2 levels, starting from rank 5, you will get special service, which basically means you can fuse a persona. So in this case, at rank 5, you can fuse Archangel. At rank 7, you can fuse Satanta. Now, again, this is important because you can't get these personas otherwise, any other way. The only way you can get them is through Merope. And because of that, basically these personas could potentially be requirements for fusion for other personas, and that way you won't be able to get those other personas unless you actually, get the ability to fuse that specific persona. So Merope is the caveat to that one thing. It is very important to note that every time Merope pops up, I highly, highly recommend you do her as a social link. Now, in saying that, not every single rank up means not every single time you hang out with anyone, it means it's going to be a rank up. There is a internal point system in this game, just like in regular Persona. So you need to hang out. You might need to hang out with them a couple of times, and you might need to give them gifts to boost their hangout points and their sort of affinity points, for example. So just keep that in mind. But every time she pops up, usually, it's definitely good to do her social link. But you might actually see that her social link is locked at the moment, and you need a unicorn with treatment enhancement skill 2. So that's a different video completely. There is a complete Merope guide online floating around somewhere. Basically, to unlock her conditions as well, you also need to fuse stuff for her to see, very similar to, for example, top of my head, Elizabeth from Persona 3 Reload. You need to do some fusion stuff for her in order to unlock certain things. It's the same for Merope, so it's not just about affinity points. She also has an additional requirement that you need to fuse specific personas. Now, the one thing I do want to quickly mention is social links and social stats in this game. Social links, especially in Confidants, there's no Arcana system in this game, so you don't need a matching persona in order to get more affinity. In dialogue trees, to get the max amount of affinity points, there is a correct quote-unquote dialogue option. However, in my experience, it doesn't really matter. Just hang out with them as you normally would, and then you can always do an additional event and give them a gift to boost that event, especially if you didn't get the max affinity points. You can just give her a gift within, another hangout event, for example, and then that way you can boost that affinity as well. Again, it's a lot less stringent than regular Persona. So that's pretty much it for the energy guide. I highly recommend just choosing a few social links so you can rank up their corresponding social stats very quickly, as well as their social links to get more gems. I don't really recommend doing any of the gem activities as well as the money activities. Money can be pretty good, but you do accumulate it a lot in the game. I've accumulated this by just basically doing no money stuff. So, that's a good reference, I guess. But I highly recommend that you do all the confidants when they appear, as well as any of the social stats corresponding. So if Rin needs knowledge, if there's any knowledge ones, I would definitely do the knowledge ones. And then you get 5 action points per day, essentially 5 activities per day. You can refresh it with a replenishment if you really, really want to. And then Merope is the only one exception to that rule where every time Merope shows up, do Merope, just because she unlocks fusion, which means you can fuse more personas and fuse potentially higher tier personas in that regard. So thanks for watching the video, everyone. I really appreciate everyone's support as always. Definitely don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Gonna become one of the premier content creators of P5X. That is the goal, and with your help we can definitely do it. So thanks for watching, everyone. Again, I will see you guys in the next video, and catch me on my live streams as well.